awkward first date with a stranger you met online. First date goes well, so you decide to go out on another one. You find out that you have common interests, and you think this could be the start of something good. You spend weeks going on date after date with this person, and you realize that you've been with them for about 6 months. You feel like you've really hit it off, so you decide to make it official. But neither of you wants to rush things, so you wait at least 4 years before you decide that now's the time to get married. You take months to plan the wedding, finding the perfect date, and then deciding what you want to do after the wedding. And once you're married, you decide that it's time to live together because you want to start a family. 3 months living together, you find that you're pregnant. Now that's 9 months being pregnant, and that means that you two have almost been together for about 6 years. But after the baby's born, things start to go bad. You realize they aren't who you thought they were. Now with a baby in your life and all the money and effort you've put into it, you wonder if leaving is a good idea. Now you either leave and risk losing all the effort you've put into this, or you could stay and try and make it work. Hello, my name is Dana Bodine, and I'm going to show you why it's a good idea to cohabitate or live with your significant other before marriage. According to the article, Premarital Cohabitation and Subsequent Marital Stability, cohabitation could be the leading cause of divorce. Dr. Sharon Sassler, a professor and social demographer from Cornell University, found this to be true in her 2011 case when she interviewed 122 people on living with their significant other. After evaluating their responses, she found that 2/3 of the participants showed that they had a fear of divorce, even despite the fact that none of the questions actually addressed divorce. Studies show in earlier years that as cohabitation increased, that divorces would increase, and UK firms claimed that 1 of 4 couples would only stay together for the child. Now, I know that some of us might think that cohabitation is unreasonable and unorthodox because you think you're supposed to know the person you're going to marry. But most people don't want to spend their time and energy into something that might not work in the end. The solution of cohabitation comes from the try before you buy principle. It gives couples a chance to cohabitate and find out if they're compatible. Although we feel like we may be the only ones who think cohabitation is a good idea, the social science survey suggests that only 25% of Australian adults disagree with the statement that living together before marriage is a good idea if you intend to actually get married. We may also be afraid of the whole high-risk divorce situation, but DeVoe, David, Lixia, and Ruth Weston in my previous article give us 3 different perspectives of why it doesn't make sense that cohabitation and divorce go hand in hand. The first one they give is the causal perspective, that the cause of divorce is because of cohabitation, so they think if we stop cohabitation, then we'll stop divorces. And I don't really feel that that statement is true, so I've given a couple other perspectives of my own as well. They also give the self-selection perspective, which tells us that the characters that influence us to get married also influence us to be divorce-prone. And most people who divorce have come from the divorced families, which give them the values of divorce, regardless if you've lived with someone before or not. But because cohabitation and self-selection are becoming more common, people who are divorce-prone and also people who aren't divorce-prone can live together in blissful cohabitation and bring down the risk of divorce. The final one is the measurement perspective, which states that the longer you're together, the more likely you are to divorce. And that's true with all situations, honestly. Glesser and colleagues report the time of marriages and divorces in indirect and direct marriages. He states that direct marriages are more likely to stay together than indirect marriages. But I feel that his study is inaccurate because he only puts how long they're actually married, not how long they're together. If he put how long the direct and indirect marriages were together, the statistics would show that they're pretty much even. They'd be nearly the same. But what we don't know about our partner can hurt us, and I feel that the solution would be cohabitation. There are many reasons why these would make great ways to know if you're heading down the road of success. First, you have to know if you're capable of being together after you argue. You can't just ignore each other until one of you apologizes. You have to learn how to compromise. You have to both be willing to keep the flame alive. If you don't have the passion, even after the initial attraction is gone, you're not going to be happy in your marriage. You have to stay attracted even after you find out all the hidden secrets and flaws. You have to balance out the relationship. Sometimes you'll have finances and even character conflicts that you have to settle into. Relying on each other for benefits is hard, but it's essential in the relationship. Handling situations and working them out can be a good step in the marriage direction. All it takes is commitment, patience, and open-mindedness to make cohabitation possible. Many couples have had outcomes with living with significant others before marriage. They gave us positive outlooks that give us hope for easy living. Victoria Mayer, 29, of Fair Lawn, New Jersey, lived with her husband Theodore before marriage to pull finances together and not spend so much on 2 apartments. She also believes that you need to know someone before you make a lifetime of commitment. The problems Americans have with cohabitation is the discussion, which they make definitional, experts say, referring to divorce as a failed marriage or cohabitation as a failure. We create misleading perceptions. Before I met my current husband, I had a fiancé I lived with, recalled Mayer. I learned a lot about him by living with him. The couple broke up, but she considers it a success because she avoided the nasty scares that could come once you get married. Andrew Sherlin, a Johns Hopkins University sociologist, claims that stories prove Americans love marriage. Jackie Gerdart, 25, of Utica, New York, agrees with this statement. She is one of many who is celebrating her first anniversary with her husband in 2010. She lived with him before marriage because she claims that she couldn't imagine just marrying somebody and making a lifelong commitment without living together first. She also claims that she sees no negatives about living with someone before their marriage. I feel that cohabitating is an effective way to get to know somebody, and I believe that it can give possible outcomes. It isn't always easy, but it is very possible. Living with your significant other can avoid misery and wasted time and effort. The survey of University of Wisconsin shows nearly half of Americans in their 30s have lived with someone of the opposite sex before marriage. Cohabitation can be popular choice in young people looking for a way to find their partner faster. I ask you to open your minds to the idea of cohabitation to see that it isn't a problem for couples anymore. We don't want anyone missing out on what they could have found while they were waiting for Mr. Right. Try it out. Experience what it's like to actually be with someone. Save time, energy, and feelings, and cohabitate. Your perfect person may be sitting on the couch right now. Thank you.